Hello, dear students. Welcome once again back to the study on vapor liquid equilibrium in distillation under unit number 3 of the course Mass Transfer 1. So, we already have completed the first two sessions. So, let us just recall what we learned in the previous session so that it helps us to learn whatever we are discussing in today's session. So, this is the course objective. That is, our objective after teaching this course to a student is to make him summarize um, the principles of various mass transfer operations that are used in industries and also know their applications. So this is the course outcome which we expect the student to attain after he has learned this particular unit. So after unit 3 is learned from a student, he or she will be able to summarize binary and multi-component systems. So then we'll be able to state Raoult's law and also use Raoult's law in predicting vapor liquid equilibrium, and also will be able to illustrate the maximum and minimum boiling azeotrope. So this is a recap of what you learned in the previous class. So we learned what is vapor liquid equilibrium. So how we can represent the vapor liquid equilibrium in distillation operation. So what are pressure, temperature, concentration diagrams? So which are nothing but the graphical representation of the vapor liquid equilibrium relations in distillation. So then we learned constant temperature VLE. Then afterwards we learned the constant pressure VLE. So these are the topics that you are going to learn in today's class. We are talking about the ideal and non-ideal liquid solutions in the first part of our discussion today. And then we are taking up the Raoult's law, where we are going to learn its statement and how its statement can be used in predicting vapor liquid equilibrium for ideal solutions. So then we'll derive the equations and also practice a few problems to calculate the VLE relations for a given system. Okay, let us now just understand what is the difference between an ideal and a non-ideal liquid solution. So when you consider a given liquid phase to be an ideal one, then we can compute or calculate the equilibrium partial pressure of the gas from a solution without resorting to any experimental determination. So that is the significance of knowing whether a given solution is an ideal or a non-ideal one in distillation. So whenever you decide that the given solution is a ideal solution, so then you can calculate the equilibrium partial pressure of the gas from a given solution without going for any experimental determination. So let us now understand what are ideal solutions. So there are four significant characteristics of a ideal solution. Let us see what are those characteristics. So the average intermolecular forces of attraction and repulsion in a solution are unchanged on mixing the constituents. That is, when you mix the different constituents, the intermolecular forces of attraction and repulsion that exist within a solution are not changed. So that is the first characteristics of an ideal solution. The second one is the volume of the solution varies linearly with the composition. Means there is a linear relationship between the volume and the composition of the given solution. Then it is said to be an ideal solution. So the third characteristic is there is neither absorption nor evolution of heat on mixing the constituents. So this is the third characteristic. And the fourth characteristic says that the total vapor pressure of the solution varies linearly with composition expressed as mole fractions. That means if you express the composition of any particular substance in the given solution in terms of mole fraction, so then that mole fraction varies linearly with the vapor pressure of the solution. Means there is a linear relationship between the vapor pressure of the solution and the composition expressed in terms of mole fractions. So a given solution which has all these characteristics are termed as ideal liquid solutions. So, we have to understand one thing here. An ideal liquid solution is a imaginary one. So, what solutions that we usually encounter are actually the solutions called actual solutions. So, because that ideality always requires that the molecules of the constituents in a given solution should be similar in size, structure, and also chemical nature. And the nearest condition or the nearest solutions that approach this condition are optical isomers of organic compounds. Only such solutions can be called as ideal. So, all other solutions that we usually come across are actual solutions. So, however, practically many solutions are very nearly ideal. Means ideality sets a limit, and some solutions are close to that ideality, and some solutions are away from that ideality. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is whichever solution is so close to the behavior of a ideal solution, for engineering purposes we can consider them to be an ideal solution. So when you decide a given solution to be ideal in that way, then you can go for a determination of vapor liquid equilibrium without any experimental determination. Okay. So, which are the solutions that usually come across have this show this kind of tendency are adjacent or nearly adjacent members of homologous series of organic compounds. So, those are the chemicals which particularly fall in this category. So, those chemical solutions can be considered as ideal. So, some of the examples I have listed here: solution of benzene in toluene, and the solution of ethyl and propyl alcohols, and the solution of paraffinic hydrocarbons, that is paraffinic hydrocarbon gases in paraffin oils, are the one which can be considered as ideal solutions. Okay, now let us see what is Raoult's law. So equilibrium relations for ideal solutions can be determined by Raoult's law. So that means whenever a solution is given to you, first you need to decide whether it's an ideal or non-ideal solution. So if it is an ideal solution, then you need not go for experimental determination of VLE data. So you can go for a theoretical determination by using a law called Raoult's law. So now let us understand Raoult's law statement. Raoult's law states that the equilibrium partial pressure of the component or a constituent in a solution at a given temperature is equal to the product of its vapor pressure in pure state and its mole fraction in liquid state. So, the partial pressures are usually represented by small p. So, if it is an equilibrium partial pressure, then we mention with a star, that is P star represents partial pressure. So, the partial pressure of a component in a given solution will be equal to the product of its vapor pressure represented by capital P and the mole fraction in liquid state, that is represented by small x. So, when you write this statement in mathematical form, this is the equation what you get. Pa star equals x into Pa. The small Pa star on the left hand side is the uh, equilibrium partial pressure of component A in a given binary mixture of A and B. So that equals X, that is a mole fraction of A in liquid phase, multiplied by the vapor pressure of pure component A, that is capital PA. So PA star equals XPA is the mathematical statement of Raoult's law. So let us now see how this equation can be used to deduce the vapor liquid equilibrium. So these are the various terms that are shown in the equation. So if the same equation is applied to the component B of the binary mixture A and B, the equation becomes PB star equals 1 minus x into capital PB. So if x is the mole fraction of A, then 1 minus x is the mole fraction of component B. So now let us use these two equations and see how we can get the equation for x and y star. So adding equation number 1 and 2, we get PA star plus PB star equals XPA plus 1 minus x into capital PB. So we know that the sum of partial pressures of a given mixture will be equal to the total pressure of the system. So PA star plus PB star equals capital P, that equals XPA plus PB minus XPB. See, if we take out the X term into two of the terms on the right hand side, so then you get X into PA minus PB, capital PA minus capital PB plus PB. Now if you just rearrange this equation, so then X can be retained on one side. So then the final equation becomes X equals capital P minus PB divided by capital PA minus capital PB. So this is equation number 4, using which we can calculate the liquid phase composition X at equilibrium. So now for the vapor phase composition, we have to use the Dalton's law of partial pressure. So that's because whenever a liquid mixture is behaving ideally, the vapor produced from it will also behave like an ideal gas. Okay, so we know that one statement of the Dalton's law is like this: the mole fraction of a component is the ratio of partial pressure of that component to the total pressure. So mole fraction of A in a vapor phase, that is Y star, equals PA star divided by capital P. So you know that capital P is given by X into P minus PB plus PB. So this is the equation that is written in equation number 3. So substituting equation number 3 in the above equation, you get Y star equals XPA divided by X into P minus PB plus PB. So this is your equation number 5. So after you get the value of X using the equation number 4, so then use that X value in the above equation to get the values, corresponding values of Y star. So that is how you can get the X versus Y star relationship at a particular temperature and pressure, and that is how you get the vapor liquid equilibrium data. So once you get the X Y star value, a set of X and Y star value for the given system, then you can plot the equilibrium curve and do whatever calculations are required for the particular distillation operation. So equation number 4 and 5 that are obtained in this manner can be used to determine the vapor liquid equilibrium data for the given ideal solutions. Thus, for ideal solutions, it is possible to compute the entire vapor liquid equilibrium from the vapor pressures of the pure substances. For other mixtures, it is necessary to obtain the data experimentally. So that is the significance of Raoult's law and how it is helping us to calculate or predict the vapor liquid equilibrium for a given system of vapor and liquid. Now, just consider equation number 1. So that is the mathematical statement of Raoult's law. PA star equals XPA. So let us now see how this equation can be shown on a graph. For a given pressure, for a given temperature, the vapor pressure PA is constant. So you all know that vapor pressure of a pure component varies with temperature. So at a particular temperature, the value of PA will be fixed. So since in the equation PA star equals XPA, so PA is unchanging. The capital PA is not changing. So it is the values of X and PA star that are correspondingly changing. That means as the value of X changes, PA star also varies linearly. So that means there is a linear relationship between X and PA star. So therefore, in a given mixture of A and B, the partial pressure of component A varies with its mole fraction, that is linearly varies with its mole fraction. So we get a straight line if you plot partial pressure versus the mole fraction. So therefore, for an ideal mixture of A and B, the plot of the pressure versus mole fraction, which is nothing but the constant temperature VLE plot. So will be like this. You can see that the P versus X and P versus Y star two curves are smoothly extending curves between the vapor pressure of B to vapor pressure of A. So as shown by the diagram. So the upper curve is the P versus X curve. The lower curve is the P versus Y star curve. So these are the horizontal tie lines between the two curves. So then if you plot the equilibrium partial pressure of A versus X, that is the mole fraction of that component in liquid phase, so then you will get a straight line like this. So that is showing that there is a linear relationship between the partial pressure and the mole fraction. So similarly for the second component, component B, the PB star, if it is plotted against X, you will get a line like this. So it is a straight line indicating that there is a linear relationship between the partial pressure and the mole fractions for an ideal solution. Okay, so this is the distribution diagram or the equilibrium distribution diagram. So where Y star is plotted against X. So there is a central diagonal line which corresponds to Y equals X values. So whatever the equilibrium data that you have obtained for a given ideal solution, if it is plotted on a graph, then you'll get a curve like this. And this particular curve is called as equilibrium curve or equilibrium distribution curve, which is nothing but the plot of Y star versus X. So it is plotted as a function of as Y star to be a function of X. So that is what is meant by the ideal solution. Okay, so we discussed about ideal and non-ideal liquid solutions, the Raoult's law, and how we can predict vapor liquid equilibrium for ideal solutions. So some of the YouTube links showing you videos that are related to all the topics that we discussed in the present session are listed out here. So you can use them to enhance your knowledge or to enhance your understanding of the various topics. So this is what we learned in today's class. We discussed about the ideal and non-ideal liquid solutions. Then we understood the statement of Raoult's law and also the state how this statement can be converted to an equation using which you can calculate the vapor liquid equilibrium for ideal solutions. So later we learned about the equations to predict vapor liquid equilibrium in distillation. Okay. So before we finish the session, let us check out how far we have understood the concepts by trying to answer some of the multiple choice questions. The first question goes like this. In case of an ideal solution, the vapor pressure varies dash with the composition expressed as mole fraction. So this is the one of the important characteristic of an ideal solution, that the total vapor pressure varies linearly with the composition. So that is the answer for this question. So let us see what are all the options they are given. Inversely proportional, linearly proportional, exponentially proportional, none of this. So linearly proportional is the right answer. The second question is like this. When a liquid phase can be considered dash, we can compute the equilibrium partial pressure of a gas from solution without resort to experimental determination. So whenever you can consider a given liquid solution to be ideal one, so then you can estimate the vapor liquid equilibrium without any experimental determination. So the options given for this question are ideal, non-ideal, real, actual. So here it is the ideal solution, so which can be used to deduce the vapor liquid equilibrium for a particular system using Raoult's law. So the right option is the first one, ideal liquid solution. So this is your fourth question. For an ideal solution, the equilibrium partial pressure versus composition plot for a component is a dash. So you have seen the vapor liquid equilibrium diagram. So in that, I've shown you that if you plot the partial pressure of a component versus its mole fraction, then you'll get a straight line. So these are the options for the question. So it is a straight line when you plot the vapor-liquid equilibrium. Sorry, when you plot the partial pressure of a component versus the mole fraction. According to Raoult's law, the equilibrium partial pressure of a component or constituent in a solution at a given temperature is equal to the product of dash with the pure state and mole fraction in the liquid state. So this is the one relation, very important. Let us see the options and then try to answer the question. So is it the vapor pressure? Is it the total pressure? Or is it the temperature that has to be multiplied that with the mole fraction to calculate the equilibrium partial pressure? So you all know this statement, Pa star equals X into capital Pa. So capital Pa is the vapor pressure. So as per our understanding, the vapor pressure is the right answer for this question. The next question, for an ideal solution. Sorry. So the fifth question is like this. An example of an ideal solution in a mixture of benzene, toluene and xylene, water and ethanol, acetone, ethanol and butanol. None of these. So which is your selection as a right answer? So it is the solution of benzene, toluene and xylene, so which actually act as ideal solutions. So Raoult's law is applicable to ideal solutions, real solutions, mixture of ethanol and water, then non-ideal gases. The right option for this question is option number A. So Raoult's law is always applicable to only ideal solutions. The question number 7 now. According to Raoult's law, the equilibrium partial pressure of the constituent or the constant component is a straight line at a given temperature is equal to so the according to Raoult's law, the equilibrium partial pressure of a component or a constituent in a solution at a given temperature is equal to the product of its dash in pure state and its mole fraction. I think this one particular question has been repeated. So we have already seen this question in the previous slide only. So it is the vapor pressure of the pure component multiplied with the mole fraction that is equal to the equilibrium partial pressure of that particular component. So Raoult's law applies to, is it all liquid solution or is it the non-ideal liquid solution only or non-volatile solute or is it the solvents? So in fact, the option is option D, solvent. So Raoult's law is applicable to ideal solutions, in particular solvents for the given distillation operation. Thank you for being a part of the session. So with that, I've concluded the third session. So in the next class, we'll practice how to calculate vapor-liquid equilibrium using all the equations that we have learned in today's class.